Welcome back to the channel, everyone. We're out in the large greenhouse today. Out here I was just checking on my tomatoes. Got some of our new crops starting to pop up. Lots of life coming up in the greenhouse altogether. We had the doors closed for the last few days to kind of aid in the germination and kind of hold some moisture in here, because we find that when the doors are open we lose a lot of moisture. So what I want to share with everybody today is a few crops and a few ideas for making some extra money off your homestead. If you have a lot of room and a lot of land, you could make a lot of money off of your land. What kind of room you have and what kind of soil quality directly dictates what you can plant, but crop selection is also crucial to having a good successful market or making any money at all. As I'm walking by these tomatoes, I did a little experiment this summer, and every time I'm out here I never have a whole lot of red ones because we pick these red brandywines up pretty quick after they ripen. But with the doors, I just opened that door down there, but it was closed and this door's closed. It's very, very warm and humid in here, creating the perfect environment to really grow some nice red tomatoes. I see some radishes all over, lots of green tomatoes still too. Some good red tomatoes though, and this was an awesome experiment because this just vined. Ooh, we got extra moisture. They're starting to crack a little bit. So we're gonna come out here and pick all these up because these are good eating tomatoes, very good slicing, and you can save these by canning. But this is also a huge crop for us. We sell lots and lots of tomatoes, but we grow all of them outside, and I promise that none of our tomatoes outside look nearly as good as what we have growing in here. And I just let them trellis across the ground. Nothing to grow on or grow up. So they basically grow up and fall over, and then they just kind of trellis their way out. You can see we've just got hordes of tomatoes coming off of that one plant. Just massive amount of tomatoes, and I've never seen a tomato plant produce so much. So we may dedicate this whole bed to tomatoes next year and trellis them up and run some along the ground also. Because one observation I made is that our tomatoes loved our 30% shade cloth, and our cucumbers did not. We could not get a ripe cucumber to come out of here other than small pickles, basically little tiny pickling ones, 3 to 4 inches. But once they get big enough, they start to ripen right away. So I don't know if it's just because of the shade in here. The cucumbers did not like it. So we will not grow cucumbers inside the greenhouse when our shade cloth is on. So we learned our lesson on that one, and we've just got intercrop strawberries and a bunch of radishes in here that some of them are going to seed on us because they were the secondary round, like this one here. This one went to seed, but 90% of the radishes out here are still good to harvest. We've got monsters growing out in the greenhouse, and that leads me to the next topic. Let's jump out to our 40 or 50 foot stretch of radishes out here. We've got a nice sunny day finally. We've got our bed here. I've talked about this bed quite a bit. We harvested all of our cantaloupe about a month ago, turned this whole bed over, flipped this plastic over to this side and to that side, and basically just worked all this soil, threw a little compost in there. And we had planted these radishes about 3.5 weeks ago, these ones about a week and a half ago, and we planted beets along the other side about a week ago here. And I just wanted to walk through. We harvested some of these radishes already, but I literally can just grab bundles and bundles of radishes here. A whole handful basically makes a bundle, so we just throw each bundle into a rubber band and we sell them that way. And these are a super bountiful crop for us. We can grow these in a matter of 3.5, 4 weeks. So under a month we can have a harvest, and that is super efficient for us, especially when you're growing early into the season and through the whole middle of the summer and then into the fall. We try and grow as much as we can outside before we have to be locked up in the greenhouse all winter. So as you can see behind me, I got my radishes. We got our nice Baker's Delight apples. These are a 30-year-old tree, at least 25, 30-year-old tree. These turn nice and yellow. This was planted quite a few years ago also. And then we've got our succession of pear trees. We've been propagating tons and tons of these Bartlett pears and just filling our property. We've got massive amounts of pears coming on. And this is just kind of an example of what we like to bring, because all of these are rather easy to pick, rather easy to sell. Doesn't take a whole lot of work. Radishes are probably the most intrusive because it takes quite a bit of bending over to get all of these harvested, but they are well worth the effort. And they're one of the most efficient cash crops that we grow throughout the entire season. I'm going to jump over to our other bed on the other side of the property here. We're going to go take a look at a new nursery that we're kind of developing out here. On the way over to our little new nursery here, wanted to stop by our Jerusalem artichokes. This is just a small patch. They got about 12 feet tall and basically got knocked over. I need to come in and throw a bunch of compost on the base of that just to keep all of those roots intact, because these are another major cash crop. We can pick all of these out in the fall time as soon as we start to get any type of frost, and it's not too late to actually sell that produce to our customers. So Jerusalem artichokes can be very bountiful. We should have 25 to 40 pounds of Jerusalem artichokes this year. This is just a small sample patch here. So let's actually continue on out to our little nursery here. We have a whole bunch of kale planted. I want to just kind of give a nice overview here. So this is our northern side of our property. This is where all of our hedging is going to go. We're going to basically grow some straight up trees, not sure what yet. So this will basically all be a large guild or a large polyculture. It's going to all kind of tie in together, and we're going to continue this northern wall all the way up our entire property down to the other end there. So we've got a lot of work ahead of us, and let me kind of go through and explain what we've got out here starting this nursery out. We've got our little June berries here. Some of them have gotten kind of beat up by the bugs and the beetles, but this is a nice stalk, nice growth. That is the second or third year we've had that coming up. Another June berry. Those are nice big blueberry like plants. They are supposedly harvested in June, so I look forward to harvesting those. I apologize for all the background noise out there. We've got an extremely windy day. So we've got a whole bunch of Gordon's elderberries. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, like 4 or 5 elderberries out here, and I planted some of our basil just to harvest seeds. We've got some mint, more mint, red vein sorrel. We've got some failed larger cuttings, just a whole bunch of stuff going on. All types of different plants that we are saving a few seeds from here. I had to jump over here in the shade. It's getting pretty warm in the sun out there. We've had some pretty cold temps, and we've got a spike up to 80 degrees today, so I'm really enjoying this nice weather we've got. I have been basically just place holding all of these annual plants. I had planted a whole bunch of cucumbers several weeks ago, probably 2 weeks ago, a little over 2 weeks now, and we are going to have a decent harvest from all of these. We've got some zucchini down at the end here. These were all started from seed right here in this brand new patch, so we're basically just place holding. Like I said, all of these are place holding except for the perennials that we've got. We've got a whole bunch more workable soil. We're just kind of tearing up the grass and turning it to a food forest here. So another thing I wanted to share, amongst the kale here, which looks pretty droopy because we have not been harvesting it, but it is actually healthy. We're going to be able to harvest from that and kind of pile our leaves up and help it grow throughout the winter, hopefully. So we've got all of these little apple trees. We stuck a ton of cuttings amongst all of this kale here, and we're kind of just using all of those as placeholders. Not sure how well our success rate will be with all of those cuttings because I did it so early that it was pretty warm for those cuttings. I want it to be a little cooler out, but the ground will still be warm, so I really like to place all of the cuttings in the ground in the mid to late fall. I apologize, I'm kind of just getting on a rant and kind of got lost in the little polyculture that we're trying to build, and I wanted to come over here. I wanted to show these little Asian pears right here. These are continually growing. I've harvested 1 or 2 already. They don't have a whole lot. This one has 1 small bug bite, but other than that, the bugs didn't really bother these Asian pears, which is great for us because we are going to propagate this out and hopefully spread the wealth here and be able to bring these to our market and be able to share this awesome fruit with all of our customers here. So to sum it all up, we're basically using our placeholder plants to make money off of our cucumbers, our zucchini, while we're surprisingly still getting harvests off of those same plants that we had planted early in the season. So it's been a strange season for all of our plants. It's not like we're used to growing. Things just seem to be a little different this year, so we're just trying to adapt and learn, and we're planting everything we can with the hopes that we can survive a little bit longer and produce a little bit more produce so we can make a little bit extra money for the homestead and reinvest it into our greenhouse projects and to buying awesome permaculture plants for ourselves and to share with our customers.